Hey, welcome back to the Coach's Corner. Ian Lane joining me again. How's it going, buddy? Last time we talked, I think you were halfway through your season at Bridgewater,
Yeah, it
right?
was halfway through October.
How did you guys end up finishing?
Not too good. I think when we talked last, we had one or two losses, and then we ended up with we finished the last 5 games. We finished 1-4. I think it was. We
Okay.
had a pretty rough stretch where we lost to Randolph Macon, lost to Hampton Sydney at home. Then we lost to Washington Lee at home. And I think, if I heard them correctly, that was like one of the first times in a long time that Bridgewater has lost back-to-back home games.
What happened? They
So
need to
it
play
was.
you more. That's the problem, right?
I did end up dressing again against Washington and Lee.
Cool. All
So I
right.
did end up dressing a total of 2 times last year.
Awesome. So you'll be going into your sophomore season coming up.
Technically, athletically, academically, it'll be my junior season.
Okay, but this will be your second year.
Yeah, of
Ah,
actually being able to play.
being able to
Because
play,
right now I'm
right?
in my second year, but the next year will be my second year of actually being able
Okay.
to dress.
Gotcha. Understood. So what are you doing in the off season to prepare for the next season? I guess your football season won't start till you'll start doing major workouts like the summer, stuff like
Well,
that.
we just finished. This is the second week of our second off-season cycle,
Okay.
and spring ball starts in March. So currently, we are on a 5-day week schedule. Well, technically 4 days,
Yep.
but it gets messed up a little bit. So Monday through Thursday, we have conditioning at 6 and 6:30 in the morning. Mondays and Wednesdays
Oof.
are 6 a.m. and it's more of a um kind of just like get off sprint type stuff. Tuesday, Thursdays, agility and conditioning.
Yeah.
Um, I lift at 8 a.m. Monday through Wednesday, right after the lift. I mean, right after conditioning, and then Thursday I lift at 4.
Okay.
Uh, and then some people lift at 8 a.m. on Friday because it's class schedule conflict, things like that.
Yeah.
But so far, that's what we're doing. Um, and then come spring ball, I'm not too sure because we have a new weightlifting coach compared to last spring. I'm not too sure what it's going to look like when we
Yeah.
do spring ball, but it pretty much would be we'll have spring ball and lift and maybe condition on top of all of it.
And you're saying spring ball? You mean kind of like a spring like preseason type
Yeah,
deal?
so
Okay.
it's because I know everyone knows how big D1 schools they have their spring games and all that
Yeah. Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah.
D3 is completely different. So we can only practice 4 times a week.
Mhm.
We can only go for a month. So we only have a total of 16 spring ball practices, and we can only wear shells, which is uppers, no,
Yeah.
just all that 4 times.
Oh wow.
So, and when we do wear shells, we can't go 11-11. So when we do team, is kind of just Pascal and 1-on-1 with the front with the O line and D line, or 2v2, and we work on our stunt stuff. So
Gotcha.
it's fun because everybody gets reps and things, but you don't get to have the full aspect of actual
Yeah.
football. You don't get to
Right.
go to 11-11. I mean, we do get to do 11-on-11. When we were just in helmets, but especially in the front seven, it's kind of hard to actually do what you want to do in the box when you have just a helmet on,
Yeah.
because then it just fits. Which I mean, obviously, because spring is more mental. It's a whole new mental thing, especially last year when we had a new defensive coordinator, new bunch of coaches.
Mhm.
But this year it's our second year with this stint at the staff,
Yeah.
so it's going to be more mental because I put more things in, readjust what we had from this fall,
Right.
get to see what we'll have for, because I mean we lost a good bit of seniors on the defensive, because I mean I kind of forget offensively, but I know
Yeah.
defensively we lost a lot.
Yeah, I
So
remember you saying that last time we talked. You had a lot of senior, yeah.
yeah,
And I mean, especially for you too, right? Because this is going into your second season. You're going to be taking in a lot more. You'll probably have a bigger role going into this season. A little more exciting for you, but a little more responsibility.
yeah, I'm
Yeah.
looking forward to it. I think, I mean, obviously I'm shooting number one
Right.
on the depth chart. You
Right.
never want to
Right.
shoot for anything lower, but I always think you should have your real goal you want and then have a realistic goal.
Hmm.
um I think my main goal is obviously to start, but my realistic goal, because to me, I mean, if you're a number 2 on the depth chart in D line, you're still a starter, because it's
Right.
D line. You're rotating. You're always constantly
Right.
rotating. You'll just about never have the same 4 guys in the field over and over and over again, because they just
Right.
get gassed, especially
Yeah.
in the middle.
Yeah.
But I think I'm pretty confident I'll be a 2 and at least get in the rotation and at least
Nice.
have an impact, which
Yeah.
I'm like 99% confident that's going to happen.
Yeah, cool. That's great. So, you talked about. I didn't know there were so many rules that went into like your spring
Mhm.
balls. You're calling it. Do you guys have your workouts? Do you get to choose when you want to do those based off your class schedule, or is it do they determine that before everything starts based on your class schedule, and then you just keep that?
So I know last year with our old weightlifting coach, it was all by um class schedule. Like if I mean,
Okay.
because I know last spring, I didn't have to wake up early at all.
Mm-hmm.
I had conditioning at 2, and then I had lift at 2:30. It was right back to back.
Yeah.
But this year, and I like how he did it this year, but it's really hard to get it when you have classes. He did it by position, so it was supposed to be 8 o'clock O line D line, combos, which is kind of the heavier skill type of guys like
Yeah.
linebackers, all that at 3 o'clock, and then skill at 4. But my 8 o'clock group, I am the only D lineman in my group. I lift with um my buddy Wyatt, who's a running back, my buddy Ryan, who's a linebacker, and my other buddy Ryan, who's a safety. And
Yeah.
I'm the only D line. So it kind of just all ended up working to where it's your class schedule. He
Yeah.
wants it to be by position. I agree with it being by position. But in college you really can't
Yeah.
do
It's a give
that.
and take. Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you prefer? If it were me, I would prefer to get up in the morning and get it out of the way.
Yes. Because I mean that's what I do. That's what I do in the off season.
Yeah.
I mean when I'm at home, I
Yeah.
wake up at 5, go to work at 8. Especially now, I still have to do that because I have an internship with Miss Crabtree.
Oh,
Throughout
cool.
the month of May, I'm still going to do the same exact thing. Just wake up at 5 and go to work, and
Oh, cool.
it makes it so much better because you feel more productive. Like I got it out of the way. It's kind of I always say it as I want to get it done now so I can be lazy later. Because I the first time I started working my first winter, I went to work and then I lifted after and I
Mhm.
hated it because I'm like I'm tired after work,
Yeah.
and that's when everybody goes. Because I know with my gym when I go at 5 in the morning, it's the same 5 people every
Yep.
morning. You see the
Mhm.
same 5 people. Every machine you want is open. Especially me. I am everyone that lifts at 5 a.m. 95% of the time, it's going to be like an old dude that are just not
Yeah.
doing hang cleans and power cleans like
Yeah.
I'm
Right.
doing. So I have the whole platform to myself. No one takes it. It's
Yeah.
perfect.
That's nice. That's cool. You said you're interning with Miss Crabtree, as in like at Williamsport, right?
Yeah, I will be shadowing her May 1st to June 5th.
Okay.
It's actually I can do it without having it to be through the college, but doing it through the college, I get actual credit for it,
Yeah.
and credits look good. I guess what's
Sweet.
that
Yeah.
good
So
thing?
you'll be following her. For people that don't know, Emily Crabtree is the athletic director at Williamsport High School. She was actually my very first interview on my show, and she's a great lady. I'm actually friends with her. You probably know her son, Ryan. Ryan Crabtree.
Uh, a little
You
bit.
probably heard of him. I
Yeah,
think
I've never really talked to him though.
he's the golf coach over there as well. And he went to Williamsport, and he's actually married to Casey. For those who don't know, Casey's my wife. He's married to Casey's cousin.
I did not know that.
Yeah, so
That's news to me.
I actually interviewed Emily first, and the whole time we were kind of like, yeah, that vibe where you feel like you know each other,
Mm.
but you kind of can't pinpoint it, and nobody says anything. And then once we ended the interview, we were chatting. I was telling her, here's where you can find the video. Well, this is how it'll work. And she said, I know where I know you from, and I'm like, well, that's funny because I feel like I know you too. And she's like, does your wife take pictures? And I was like, yeah, on the side. Like it's a hobby of hers, and sometimes she does them for some friends. And she goes, she took my grandson's pictures, and I'm like, oh, who's your grandson? And she names Ryan and Miranda's little boy, and I was like, oh, and she's like, I'm Ryan's mom. And I'm like, oh my God. Like it didn't even process. Same last name. And they even look similar. So like, and we get invited to Ryan and Miranda's little boy's birthday parties occasionally because my two daughters are friends with him. Like they play all the time. And so I was like, well, I've seen you at parties before, like birthday parties before, probably. And we've crossed paths many times. And so, yeah, it's definitely a small world. But no, that's cool, and that's your alma mater there, so that's
Yeah.
even cooler. So is that, or do you want to do? Is that what you want to
Yes.
like get
I
into?
last time we interviewed, I was a criminology major, and
Yep.
then in my coaching class, because I was a coaching minor too, in my coaching class, the athletic director, I mean not athletic director, the athletic trainer at Turner Ashby, which is a high school right next to Bridgewater, she came in and she was talking about how she knew she always wanted to do sports. That's what she loved, and she wanted to get a job in it. And I was thinking, I was like, it's really all I know. Like I know I
Yeah.
have knowledge in other things, but sports is what I know. And then I took like a 2 week. Like it was an insane amount. I probably interviewed with too many professors. I probably talked to 20 professors on campus
Yeah.
to try and pinpoint what I wanted to do. I actually got another connection with the athletic director at Rocktown High School, which is a brand new high school right down the road from Bridgewater as well.
Oh, cool.
And he did what I'm doing. I now am a human development and fundamental science major with the coaching minor. So as much as I want to be an athletic director, it is a long process to get there,
Yeah.
especially in Washington County. Miss Crabtree told me it was have to have teaching experience and head coaching experience. Now I'm
Hmm.
assuming like I know the teaching experience is the same for just about every athletic director spot.
Right.
But I know, excuse me, with this I will plan to get a master's degree in sports management
Mhm.
and eventually lead into athletic directing. But
And you
who
can
knows? Who knows when that'll eventually
and you
happen?
can you can coach too without
Yeah.
being at the school. So you could have teaching experience somewhere else and still, if you want to coach, say Williamsport, that would give you the coaching experience too. That would be cool. Yeah, being an athletic director is a huge. I didn't know it was such a gigantic responsibility. I knew it was a big responsibility, but those are some of the first people I interviewed. I interviewed Emily Crabtree. I interviewed Mike Marsh. He's the AD at Boonesboro. I'm friends with Ryan Myers. He's the
Mhm.
Smithsburg. Grew up with him. He's the Smithsburg athletic director. They do a lot. It
Yeah.
is like I was like, I couldn't believe the amount of. The guy would ask him, "What's a day?" Every single one of them, I said, "What's a day like for you?" And they said, "It's never the same. No day is ever the
And
same. Some days
that
I'm
is the
here."
exact reason I want that job.
Yeah,
Is
and
I'm
it's variety, right? Yeah, you're right. Yeah, and it's interesting. He's like some days they're like some days I'm here till 9, some days I'm here till 7. Some days it's
and
different every day.
I like that because I like having difference every day, but also the fact that
Hmm.
it's sports.
Yeah,
And I know, at least Williamsport, we had not that many sports. And when I was talking to the athletic director at Rocktown, they have so many sports. They have probably good 30 some varsity
yeah. Well, they're
sports.
a Virginia
Yeah,
school. They're a little.
they have a lot.
They're probably their division or their student counts probably a little bit more than Williamsport's.
Their cafeteria was probably like 10 cafeterias of Williamsport's
I
put
imagine.
together.
Yeah.
It
Well,
was
Williamsport's is tiny.
huge. It looked like High School Musicals
Oh,
cafeteria.
like a movie
Yes.
set. Yeah.
It was so cool looking walking through that.
Yep, that's those Virginia schools, man. They're big, yeah. Kind of like when you get like down towards like in the Baltimore area or like the DC area, the
Mhm.
schools just grow because there's so many kids.
Yeah.
But no, that'd be cool. That would be good. And it's cool that like for those of you, I don't want to get too parenty here, but like even if you don't know what you want to do after high school, like Ian's a prime example. He picked something that interested him. He went and did it, and then he found out what he really wanted to do after he got to college. That I was the same exact way. Had no clue what I wanted to do, and I was like you. I love sports, so I just went and did general studies. And then I thought to myself, I'd like to be like a behind the camera like type deal, like in a TV studio or something like that. The production side of things. So I kind of got into that a little bit, and then radio landed in my lap. Like I didn't choose radio. I mean, it was always an option on the table, but it kind of I guess you could call it an internship. It was technically I don't know how you would classify it, but they called me a remote tech. I just went along with the DJs that were on each station and helped them set up all their equipment and stuff for their live broadcasts. And then I got into being on the air. Was here off and on a while, and then started full time. And now here it is. So it just goes to show you, no matter what, stick with something, and
Hmm.
something will come up. It's really cool. Good. I'm proud of you. Happy for you.
Thank you.
Um, so Bridgewater will we'll get into that a little bit later down the road. We can have you back on. We'll talk before the season starts. But I want to talk a little bit about the NFL. I know you're a huge Dolphins fan. They got the
Yes.
13th pick in the draft. Who do you think they'll take? Do you think any of those top those top recruits, I don't want to say recruits, the top draft picks will fall down to 13 for you? Like, I don't know. I know you guys don't really need offense right now. You don't need a quarterback.
I know we do. A lot of the things I'm seeing is O line, and I kind of agree. I mean, obviously, it's
Yeah.
not been perfect interior wise. I know Brewer, our center, is great. He
Mm-hmm.
had a great rookie year. Um, Guyton, he was a rookie, but I don't know how much PT he got. I know Teron Armstead may retire. I
I
just
heard
think
that
we need to
too.
get a
Yeah.
tackle. I am huge on like the scouting part, even though I have no need to. I watch all the breakdown film of the Senior Bowl. Um, I do all the mock drafts, but I have to wait. I wait personally until after the combine because
Mm-hmm.
I know that changes everything. I like to see what
Oh
those
yeah.
guys look like. Like I will sit down and scout players like I am a Dolphin scout, just for the fun of it, just because I love that aspect.
Uh-huh.
I do know it. Also, I would like to wait till after big free agency signings because I know one of my favorite players, Javon Holland, he may not come back. If
Yep.
he doesn't come back, I know I forget how to pronounce it. It's like Mubike or something. There's a Texas safety. He plays just like Javon Holland.
Oh yeah.
He flies around like crazy. He does
Mm-hmm.
everything. He's a straight Swiss Army knife, and I love that type of safety. I would love to draft him. Um, I know before not Jalen Waddle, Tyreek Hill, when all those trade rumors were happening and no
Yeah.
longer happening, I was thinking Tez Johnson. Tez Johnson may fall. I would love to draft another wide receiver. Because I know who we have. I know River Crocraft is good. There's a bunch of other guys. Braxton Berrios, he's kind of gadget
Yeah.
player, but I feel like we need a solid number three. I mean, I
Yeah.
know we have Janu, but I love to spread the ball out, and I
Yeah.
know obviously I have different scheme likings than Mike McDaniel, but I do always think it's good to have three solid wide receivers and a solid tight end. And I think right now we're just missing one of those third wide receivers.
Yeah. Because I
And I
mean,
really, the main
I,
thing we need is O line, and I feel like that's
yeah,
the first thing
that's
we
where
need
it
to
all
get.
starts, right? Yeah. I mean, you got it. The O line gets the quarterback time. The quarterback has time. He gets the ball to the receiver. Then you get to the point where you're like, okay, we have to have those receivers. Yeah, past Tyreek Hill, past Jalen Waddle, like no names, like you said. You name some players that are decent players. You know, they're kind of like those skill wide receiver players that you can
Mhm.
put in certain situations, but no real true number three. Yeah, that would be nice. You also have Achan. He can catch out of the backfield too.
Yeah. So I
But
know
you know,
because
health plays a factor there. You know, he has to stay healthy too. He had some problems. A
he was one of the
couple.
top receiving running backs.
Mm-hmm.
One guy I did forget to mention, he's not top on any one of those board. It's Eric. I think it's Ikuazama, number 18. I love when we draft him. He has been so explosive. I watched so many types of him.
Was he a
He
rookie
doesn't
last year?
He, I think, I want to say this is his fourth year. He's either
Oh,
going to
okay.
his fourth year. He hasn't got an opportunity, and I want him to get an opportunity because
Hey,
I know if he gets a chance, he'll be the three. Because I know another thing we need to draft is a backup quarterback.
yeah,
As much as I love Tyler Huntley, he was not getting it done.
right.
Skylar Thompson never got it done. I love Jalen Milrow. Jalen Milrow would be a great backup quarterback simply because the way Mike McDaniel runs his offense, we can put him in as a gadget player too
Right.
and be a backup quarterback. Put him in the gadget. As much as he may not want to because he's so set on being a quarterback,
Mm.
he'd be great for it. And I mean, we also have an opportunity to sign Marcus Mariota, one of my favorite college quarterbacks of all time. I would love for him to be our backup
Is
because
he a
he's
free
so good.
agent?
Yeah, he only signed a 1 year deal with Washington.
Uh,
I haven't
hey,
seen him in a couple of
he
weeks.
looked
I saw it like a week ago.
he looked great when he got opportunities to play this past season. He looked really good. I was impressed. The first time he went in when Jalen went down with that rib injury, what was it, like week 4 or 5 or something like that? And
I forget what it
he
was.
came in and started a few games. I'm thinking, oh, great, here we go. Like this is typical Washington football. You know, you're riding the high horse, and then your horse goes down, and it's back to losing every game. And he did really well. And I was like, oh,
Yeah,
okay, maybe the atmosphere is different over in Washington this year.
I think he's done good everywhere he's gone. It's just
Yeah, he just doesn't get the
it's always ended bad.
yeah, or the
He did good in
opportunity, right?
Tennessee, ended bad in Tennessee. Except the Raiders. I don't remember him doing much with the Raiders. And then there was the Falcons. Played great with the Falcons. Then he
Yep.
kind of just mental issues popped away. And because I remember watching the QB show, he
Mm-hmm.
was on there. I
Mm-hmm.
remember watching that. And then obviously with Washington, he played good in the time he was there in Washington. I also just think you always need a veteran presence,
Yeah,
and I feel like he'd be a great veteran
yeah.
presence for the Dolphins, and
Mm-hmm.
definitely be good for Tua because
Yeah,
they're kind of similar styles, as in with the mobile aspect, where he can run, but he prefers to stay in the pocket. But
yeah.
yeah,
I mean, look at him with Jalen on the Commanders. Like, obviously, he's a decent veteran presence. I've seen a couple of videos and clips of him. You know, when Jalen throws an interception or is a bad pass or makes a bad play and it's clearly on him, he's right there backing him up,
Mhm.
giving him confidence, and that's what the backup quarterback does when he's a
Yeah.
vet like that. It's really good to have. You mentioned Jalen Milrow. I think this year we're not going to see a quarterback coming out of the draft that's drafted like when you're talking about your Cam Ward, your Shador Sanders.
Mhm.
I think they're going to be excellent players, but I don't think they're not your typical run of the mill top candidate quarterbacks. They all have really good characteristics, like a certain characteristic, but they're not that overall. I think it's going to take time.
Yeah,
I
I think the best out of all of them is Cam Ward.
Yeah, I agree. I could agree with that.
I
Yep.
think he's really good. And my main thing is I know a lot of people this the nonchalant thing. I feel like people are undermining how insanely calm he is in the pocket.
Hmm.
I feel like you see all these other quarterbacks like, oh, he's so calm in the pocket, it's so good. But when he does it, he's too calm, and they don't like it. I think it's great to be too calm. Yeah, if he does the stand there still and then throw it, you'll probably get cracked in the NFL.
Yeah.
Well, that's going to happen. Everybody gets cracked in the NFL once.
Yeah.
I also think it's kind of funny to me how Dylan Gabriel is has. I think it was him and Cam Ward both. I think they both passed Case Keenum. I
Hmm.
forget what it was, but it's insane seeing guys like that broke these records and they're not high on the draft board at all.
Yeah.
I feel like years ago it would be completely different. And
Well,
he's
then
such a good quarterback.
and then you have players that when I mean this isn't every player, but you have some players that come in and win the Heisman, and they're drafted high
Yep.
and they're complete busts.
Yeah.
Like it's a totally different world when you get to the NFL. Like you said, that combine is huge. It really can kind of show, shed a little more light on those players that you're looking to. But you talked about being calm in the pocket. I mean, like that would definitely benefit Cam Ward. Look at Jaden Daniels. A lot of people
Yeah.
are like, how does he like? He doesn't react. Like he reacts, but it's always positive. He's always so calm. He looks like he's just back there playing backyard football. If Cam Ward can do that for a team, as long as he has the offensive line that can block. I
Mhm.
mean, Ward's not really much known as being a runner, as much as Daniels is, but I mean, he could probably get the job done if he needed to.
Yeah.
But being athletic and whatnot. But yeah, it'll be interesting. I think Sanders is getting a lot of hype just because of who he is, who his dad is.
Yeah,
Don't get
I'm
me
not.
don't get me wrong. I think he's a great quarterback, but a number one or number two, I don't think. I think he may fall. Um,
I think that their bowl game against BYU is causing him to fall. I
yeah,
was a terrible performance. He's a good like you said, he's a good quarterback.
yeah,
I I hate to be the guy and to actually say it. I think a good bit of his hype is simply because of who he is
yeah.
and who his dad is. But then you can't counter that argument with, I mean, look at Shiloh. I've always been a high on Shiloh, but he got bullied in the Shrine Bowl.
Hmm.
He dropped, didn't even get an invite to the combine. So you can't really use the
Yeah,
name, but you can at the same time because Shadur has been, he's a
yeah,
good quarterback. He's not terrible,
yeah,
but I also feel bad for him because he had Travis Hunter. People are also going to say, oh, he was carried by Travis. He was carried by Travis.
yeah.
But you still have to be a good quarterback to give them the ball. I mean, you
True,
can't.
true.
It's hard to be. You got to be at least above average quarterback to give Travis Hunter the ball. But
Speaking
I think he's second round type of guy.
Speaking of Travis, I could agree there. Speaking of Travis Hunter, do you think he'll be a D back, or do you think he'll go in as wide receiver, or maybe a D back and play just a little bit of wide receiver here and there? Because you remember when Cordell Stewart played, he was the quarterback. He lined
Mhm.
up at wide receiver a few times. I think there was another the name slipping my mind.
I mean, Terrell Pryor, he was wide receiver. Then went to
Terrell Pryor.
quarterback.
That's right. You're right.
Yeah.
Yeah, when he played for the Browns.
I mean, he went to quarterback, then wide receiver. I
Yeah,
had it
yeah,
first.
right. Yeah. So a lot of people are saying he's going to enter as a defensive back into the draft, which I think is the right move. Um,
I think it depends who he goes to if he'll do a
yeah,
switcheroo. I would love to because I mean I like Travis Hunter, generational, should have won the Heisman, but I think whoever drafts him should try and get him to do both sides
yeah,
and see how it goes. Because he's one of those guys that you can come in as an athlete, but coming out as an athlete can really screw you over. Like DeAnthony Thomas was a guy like that. I mean, I know he was always on offense,
yeah,
but being an athlete that can do so much, it's just like, what do we do? What do we do with them? We don't know what to do. They can't figure it out, and
yeah,
it kind of screws your development. I
yeah,
don't think his development will be screwed because he's on different sides of the ball. I just really don't know what he'll be better at because I mean he was great at both. Like
yeah.
he was top five in both, but
Hmm.
he was never the best at both of those. Like I don't think he should have won the Biletnikoff. I think I know he played lesser competition,
Yeah.
but I think Nash from San Jose State,
Mhm.
he won the Triple Crown. Like I feel like, how do you win the Triple Crown and not win the Biletnikoff? Yes, he was in a lesser conference, but it's still D1 football. It's still the Triple Crown.
Yeah.
But that shouldn't take away from how good Travis Hunter is. I mean, he had that amazing catch against North Dakota State. That was insane. That takes a lot of hand-eye coordination.
Mhm.
I just don't know. It really depends who drafts him. Because I feel like if he goes to the Titans, he could do both. Him and Snead would
Yeah.
be a great duo in the
They need
DB.
both.
Him and Ridley would be a great duo. So it really depends if I forget who their head coaches is ever since they fired
uh,
Vrabel. But
uh,
I
is
know
it
he's a young guy.
Vrabel's back? Yeah.
He's at New England
Oh,
now.
he's in New England now. Yeah, yeah.
I forget who I
His
forget
name.
who Tennessee hired, but
Yeah, I can't remember.
if I'm a head coach, I'm playing him at both and really
Yeah,
seeing mainly in camp, because I mean I don't want it's a lot to ask for him to play both,
yeah.
but
Well, speaking of the Patriots, a lot of people are saying the Patriots may take Travis Hunter as well. They already have a young secondary, and adding him to it would just bolster that, and then you could play him at wide receiver, which they need help at too.
they definitely if I'm
So
them,
that would be a great
it'd
pick
be
for them.
really tough because they need wide receiver more than they need DB. Their defense is good, but their offense is
Well,
boring to watch. Is
yeah.
pitiful.
Well, I mean, Drake May is probably the only bright spot there. I mean, everybody
Yeah.
else is kind of.
Well, Joe Milton, after Joe Milton's
Oh
performance
yeah,
in the season,
yeah. Everybody else is kind of under
I was high
average.
on Joe Milton.
Yeah.
I had a prediction that because they drafted Joe Milton late.
Mm-hmm. I remember
So
that. Yeah.
I thought it was gonna be the same thing as Tom Brady. Drake May's gonna do good, get hurt, boom. Joe Milton goes in and wins the Super Bowl. I would be pissed because
It
obviously
still
I don't
could be
like the
that way.
Patriots. That would be. I mean, I saw something about trade rumors for him because he plays so good. That would be. I'd be happy for him because I liked him when he was at Tennessee.
Yeah, and with a player like we talked about, when you get to the NFL, it's totally different. With a player like Travis Hunter, you have to be careful you don't do too much on one side of the ball because it can wear and tear, and it's a different animal.
It's not the same as college.
Right, not at all. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see though. Let's shift gears a little bit before we wrap things up here. I want to talk a little bit about the NBA. I know you're a big Clippers fan. Kawhi's back. He's playing decent. James Harden's looking good. The Clippers are looking pretty decent. But I want to get your thoughts on that Luka trade.
Oh my gosh!
I could not believe that. I talked about it a little bit, but I kept thinking to myself, I need to talk to Ian about this because I knew you're like the only person that I know is like into the NBA, and I'm really getting into the NBA this season for some reason. I don't know why. I've liked it before, but I've never really been like into it. Maybe just doing this show has got me interested, but I could not believe nothing against Anthony Davis, but it's just age wise, like and potential wise, it just
and injury wise,
yeah.
AD got hurt already. I will say first, Norman Powell should have been an All-Star. I know we talked with Clippers.
Oh, I love watching Norman Powell play. Yeah.
I do not like Luka. I don't like the way he plays basketball. I know he's. I will say I hate him, but he's great. He is a ball player. He's good at what he does. I just don't like. I hate the foul baiting. I know that's a big thing now. And obviously, I don't play basketball. I never played organized basketball at all.
Well, that's a big part of that sport too. Yeah. Like that's.
So I know I'm not. I just hate how because I remember when I was watching the Clippers Mavs series, I would see so many times where he had an opportunity, like he had a driving opportunity, but instead he just pulled up and backed into a guy and foul baited.
Yeah,
I hate that so much. I'm like, yes, you can foul, get two free free throws, but just take the layup if you have it, and it just drives me insane. I know he played hard in the finals, but I've also seen him just not play good defense.
Yeah,
and like I hate talking shit on him like this, but he's a good player. He's a great player. He's going to be in the Hall of Fame.
Well,
I just hate him.
A lot of people bag on him and call him lazy. And since he's played, he has put on a little bit of weight, but that's normal.
You can see it in the
face. And there's rumors, when he was on the Mavs and he got hurt around Christmas, he was supposed to be on some kind of like a rehab where he was doing certain activities, and I think he skipped out on them or something. But that could also have been on the fact that he wanted out of there. He didn't want to be a Maverick. That could have played into that. But you can see it in his game a little bit of like a laziness on defense.
Yeah.
And like that, not driving to the hoop. If that's LeBron James, he's going to drive to the. I'm not a huge LeBron James guy. Don't get me wrong, but he'll drive to the hoop every time. Yeah. That man doesn't stop. He's a machine. Like you can just see the difference. And like you said, Luka's not a bad player. He's a great player, great shooter. Seems like a great teammate. He seems like he's got a good attitude towards things, especially now that he's on a new team. But I hope they can keep things together because I don't want that to implode for him too. Um, but another thing, speaking of players that stand out like that, the whole Jimmy Butler thing. What do you think about him being a Warrior now?
I like it. I know they're in the West, so I want the Clippers to have an easier path to the
Yeah,
finals. It is nice seeing Steph and the Warriors be good again.
yeah,
Well, I don't know how done they good with Jimmy, but it was so weird seeing Steph ball out all the time, but his team is he's
yeah.
just surrounded by
And
bums.
he
Well, not
looked
bums,
so.
but
I watch a couple Golden State games if they're on like
Mhm.
TNT or something, TBS or whatever, and he just looked so defeated out there. He looked like he just wasn't having fun, and I kind of
like
felt bad for the guy because he's a great player and he seems like a great person and
yeah,
like something that somebody that doesn't deserve that. And you also feel bad because the players around him they try, man.
that-
They're like they have decent players. Pochemski's not a bad player for the Warriors. He's
that's
a nice.
that's number 2, right?
I think so. I think he's mostly
Yeah,
their sixth man. He might start every now and then. He's not bad. Wiggins got traded, right? I
yeah,
think he was part of the
he's in the
trade,
Heat now.
but he wasn't a horrible player. He's a
I
decent
love
player.
Andrew Wiggins.
Healed is a great shooter. It's not Steph, Durant, and the
Clay
Draymond show.
Thompson
I mean,
and
Draymond Green's still
the
there,
hardest
but
one to watch was obviously, I mean, I
with
wasn't too hurt
Clay,
'cause I'm not a Clippers fan, but it was when Clay went 0 for 10 and all the comments were making fun. I'm like, do you know who Clay Thompson is?
yeah,
He scored 60 points in what was it? How many minutes was it? I know it was low. I forget exactly what it was. But I'm like, do you know who Clay Thompson is? Like, yes, he had a terrible game, but it's Clay Thompson. This dude is he's a baller. He's a
one
Hall of
game doesn't
Famer.
define you. No, I
Exactly. And
agree.
then
Yeah,
watching him immediately go to the Mavericks. The
yeah,
other thing about the Luka trade is the Mavericks front office is just there was something going on. There
yeah.
was
I
because
agree.
you can't you that is not a and he's the one that came up with the idea.
That's
It
like
was,
when you
it was
turn the trade restrictions off on your video game,
exactly. You
and
can
you
just
just you just make it go push it through. That's what it
it was
reminded me
just
of.
I didn't agree with it at all. I mean, obviously I don't like Luca, but I
Yeah,
he's your franchise. You guys just went to the finals last year.
yeah,
Like why? Like I would get it if they lost in the Western Conference Finals. It would somewhat be understandable then. No, not really, but it would
yeah.
make more sense than it does now. But you just went to the finals, and I mean, yeah, you got gentlemen swept, but you went to the finals. That was your first time in the finals since 2011. Like, come on, that was just a
If Davis can stay healthy, um,
which
if
I mean,
Davis
they
can stay
already have.
healthy, and we see Kyrie play like Kyrie can play, they have a lot of other good players as well. They still have Clay Thompson on the team still as well.
And
Um,
Gafford, I know I
Gafford,
hated
yeah,
watching him destroy us in the playoffs, but he's really good. They have PJ Washington, he's
hmm
good. He also destroyed us in the playoffs.
a lot of players
Um,
that have
yeah,
really high potential to be star players in the future. But yeah, I think the biggest thing is they just got to keep Davis healthy, and right now he's hurt. So
yeah, he got hurt. He started off great in his first 4 minutes. He was
yeah,
playing great, and then had a non-contact injury.
yeah,
I
those are
just
the worst. You hate
it
those.
was what really makes it worse is he was Dallas. Like he literally did not like they made a tribute and all the comments I saw were like if I saw this last night I would have thought he died.
Yeah,
That's like and you traded a player that if people see a tribute and thought he died,
yeah,
like, there's no way you trade him. Like that'd be like I know it was
it's
obviously not the same
crazy.
stature, but that's like the Bulls or the Cavs trading Michael Jordan and LeBron.
Yeah,
That's to me, that's what it's like.
kind of.
Like
Yeah,
he's
you're not
your
wrong. Yeah,
he's only been there for a short amount of time, but he's up there with Dirk.
yeah,
Like he's that much of a Dallas Maverick.
I agree. I agree. Definitely insane. Let's see how it plays out because the second half of the season is going to, I think, set to get underway tonight. I think the regular games resume. I think it's actually the Lakers and Luca.
Yeah,
I think they take on the Hornets. So,
that's
and I think
weird.
LeBron's out, so we might see a little bit more Luca tonight. So,
Yeah, because I know he's been limited in his short time there.
yeah, I think I just read they took off his minute restriction, probably because I think LeBron's going to be out 1 to 2 games, something with his foot
Because
or
he's
something
set
like
for
that.
the All Star game, which
Yeah,
I hate the
yeah.
new All Star game. It's terrible.
Yeah, I'm not big on All Star Game either. I
It's
mean, I like to watch the highlights and stuff, but I won't sit there
and
and
it's the
watch it.
thing is the thing is that makes me so upset is like it's not even. I mean, some of it, for the NFL and NBA, some of it's the league officials, but like it's the stars. Like
Yeah.
it's so insane when you watch the old videos of Kobe Bryant doing that up and around dunk,
hmm
Sean Taylor cracking a punter, and
Yep.
now you see flag football thrown around. And yeah, I get like it's cool, the guys are having fun. I like it when it was like the 90s and 80s when there was like they had the competition because there's all those videos of Dan Marino throwing great balls. There's Peyton Manning throwing great balls, but then they had an actual game. I know for the NFL, I would love if they did it. I've seen there's so many things the fans come up with. The two options I like are the two worst teams play for the first overall pick.
Yeah, oh, that'd
Then
be
I
cool.
like the two NFC and AFC losers of the championship game. Those
Yeah,
two play. I
yeah,
would love that. That would be so cool to watch.
yeah,
But then with the NBA, it's just you just gotta get the players into it. Like it's the best thing they have is a G League player winning the dunk contest.
oh
Nothing
yeah,
against
Mac,
Mac
yeah,
McClung, he's a G League player, but it's like you let I don't get why the stars don't want to play. Like I get risk of injury, but it's basketball. You're getting paid millions to play a game.
I agree,
Like go play basketball.
I
Like
agree.
there's so many stars up there. Like it's just so frustrating to watch.
Yeah, I
I
agree with
hate
you.
it.
And I like the idea of I like the idea with the NFL, like you said. But the only thing is with the two conference championship losers, I feel like they would have to play for something because
Yeah.
if they're
Well, I
playing,
forget. I saw what I saw. They were playing for something. I
yeah,
think it was for a pick, but I know. Like, because I know the Super Bowl winner gets the 32nd, and then Super Bowl loser gets the 31st. I
yeah,
guess they would play for 28th or something, but
chance to, yeah, I mean,
as much as the 28th, 29th pick do matters, I bet you this player's like, oh, I don't care. I'm
I
not going to do
mean,
anything.
look at the Chiefs drafted I think Pacheco
Yeah.
the year after they won the first Super Bowl. I think they drafted Pacheco with the last pick, and look at him. I mean, it just goes to show you it doesn't matter where somebody gets picked. Nine
Yeah.
times out of
So
10,
it really, I don't know what else they could play for because
it'd be interesting.
I think it matters, but I know NFL stars being NFL stars. Well,
Yeah,
actually, they're less divas than NBA players, but I know they would care less about 28th or 29th pick.
yeah. Well, all great ideas. I mean, if anybody ever hears these, maybe they'll come to fruition one day.
Well, Roger Goodell has too much of an ego to change any of the rules yet. Just like he should change to college football overtime. I also hate the new college football overtime with it going to forced 2-point conversion and then just 2-point conversion.
Yeah.
Because you know how cool it was when it was the same thing over and over again, and LSU and Texas A&M went to 7 overtimes
Yep.
and had 70 points each.
But
I
then
mean, yeah,
then you get back into it. Well, you got to think about the player's health. You got to think
they
about. Yeah, I know.
it's so
I
frustrating.
know.
So frustrating.
That would be the other excuse though.
That's what I also think college football because you know how NFL has NFL Players Association and how they said no, we're
Mm,
not doing 18th game. I think college needs to have the same thing for Division 1, 2, 3, and JUCO. I
yeah.
think they shouldn't make all the decisions without having to be like, hey,
Yeah.
I'm the ones that have to do this, so let me have a say in it. Just like
Right.
I think D3 should be able to go full pads in spring and have a spring game, but we don't.
Yeah.
Well,
Maybe one day.
I don't know. I think it's just because we don't have a spring game. I think they're allowed a spring game. We just don't have one. I kind
Yeah.
of forget.
Maybe.
But
Well, maybe one day all of our suggestions will be taken into light and things will change because of Ian and Andy.
hopefully.
Hey man, hey, it's been a pleasure having you on. It's always fun to have you on and talk sports. So we'll have you back again here. Probably maybe when the season starts back up, or if there's another crazy Luka Anthony Davis type trade that happens, or something crazy happens for the Dolphins. But definitely have you back. Thank you for coming on today, and
Thanks for
good
having
luck
me.
in the rest of your off season. And when the regular season gets here, good luck for that as well.